Hello, everyone, and good evening to you, or good day, depending on when you see this. This is Roger, of course, with Grubus Games Unlimited. And wow, it's been a little bit since I've chatted with you. I hope that everyone out there is just doing great, staying safe, enjoying any games you're playing, and enjoying summer. I think today is the first day of summer, and I'm really looking forward to an awesome summer with you guys. So welcome to this Kickstarter update, Dungeon Crusade Kickstarter update number 14. So as always, I like to just hang out with you guys, see how you're doing, and go over this Kickstarter update. And there's a lot of awesome stuff. It took me many days to put together. So I'm just looking forward to hanging out with you, and let's go over everything. And there's the poster I put together for this. Kind of a cool poster. I thought to put a lot of the game stuff in this one. The biggest news is that the game is in production right now. Yes, we are all finished with it. And I'll tell you what took a while, but I am so happy with this, is the revised rulebook for Dungeon Crusade. We're going to be looking at that, but man, guys, that took a while. I worked with my very awesome and great friend and brilliant friend, Ilpo. And he was kind of the editor on the Dungeon Crusade section of it, and it just came out fantastic. And, you know, I care about all you guys, especially people who have the game, and the revisions we did with the game. You know, we're going to go over all this, so I'll save it for the Kickstarter update. We're going to talk about the Pledge Manager, and we'll end with the new video series that I'm putting together in the next few days. I've been scripting everything out, but we'll get to that. But for right now, let us get over into the Dungeon Crusade Kickstarter update, hang out for a bit, and chat about what's going on. Okay, and here we are on the Kickstarter page. And of course, there is a link in the description, and I always put the same thing in what's in the description in the comment section. So at your convenience, go check it out, but we'll just go over everything, and so you can see everything that's been going on. But the headline, Dungeon Crusade is in production. I am so happy to be saying that again. But just real quickly, that means, you know, our work is all done on it, and it was a lot of work. Very happy with it. So it is with the manufacturer now. A look at the final game boxes, and a lot of the stuff you guys have seen, you know, because I keep you updated on the channel, but that will be in here. The Pledge Manager will be closing. We'll be chatting about that. Revised rulebook has been completed. A big heck yeah to that. I am very happy. New game mode and coming, and much more. So we'll just get right into it here. And of course, there's the poster again. And if you've watched these before, you know my format. I always see how everyone's doing. And from here, skimming back this was a little bit delayed because this is a giant update. I'll give you a fair warning. But I just chat with how everything's at the manufacturer. And then I always have this link here for previously on Dungeon Crusade. So if someone's new, they could always click this link and it just takes you back, so on and so forth. So I can keep everyone up to date of what's going on. I want to touch on this right now with you guys. And it's something that there was a lot of closing words I said that for the Dungeon Crusade experience has been perfected and honed. We'll just glance over this, but I encourage you to check this out. And just myself and Ilpo and other people worked very hard. Any issue people have with the game, I wanted to make sure everything was addressed and it was the best it can be. And we did that. And I'm just so happy with where the game is at. So glancing over, I want to start off the update with this. This was just very important to me. So let's just briefly talk about, okay, so what's going on with this Dungeon Crusade experience? How has it been perfected and honed? And I wanted to lay it out and be very candid and very transparent with, you know, everyone about what we did. First and foremost, the biggest thing was the revised Crusader's Handbook. So that's, of course, the cover, and you guys have seen this. We went over that rule book a lot in the videos. And what was this? So we just talked about the rule book here, how the newly revised rulebook is much slimmer and straight to the point in explaining the rules of the game, and you'll be pleasantly surprised how well this came out. And then something important, the revised rulebook is part of the Crusader upgrade pack and will be included, of course, in all new editions of the game. So if you have the previous edition or, the one from last year, get yourself the Crusader upgrade pack, and this will be in there for you. And the revised rulebook is now only 46 pages, and it contains the 8 rule sets of the game, which are Dungeon Crusade, the Avalon Adventure board game, of course the new solo Crusader mode that everyone seems to be loving, the 2 Macalladar dungeon, there's just a 1 page with that, and then the 4 House of Chance games, Tower Attack, Skulljack, Heroes vs. Monsters, The Adventures of Bravely the Knight. So that just talks, that section right there, excuse me. Moving on, reduced game time, another substantial thing. As most people know, Dungeon Crusade is an open world dungeon crawl board game. There's nothing linear about it. So with the revisions that we did, especially with the minions, now combat only takes, like right here it says 10 to 15 seconds. This is what really cut the game time down, plus a few other things. So it's not as long as it was. It is a little bit shorter of a game. And the newly revised combat system, because remember there's the classic combat system, which we're going to talk about, and the revised. If you're going to use the revised combat system, it is a lot quicker. And then now a player can now select between the classic combat system or the revised system. And I know we've talked about that on here. Classic combat is more challenging, in-depth. It does have a longer game time, but if you're going to be using the revised combat, it's more faster paced, action oriented, and quicker game time. And I just want to make a point here that either one you're going to use, you're going to combat minions the same exact way. Okay, so whatever you choose, you're always going to use the same combat system with the minions. Okay, and moving right along, like just what we just discussed right here, just a little more in depth with it. Easier and quicker setup. Now I'm going to be honest, it does take a little bit of time when you're starting out with Dungeon Crusade to set some things up, but when you consider the experience that you have with the game, now though, with the way that it's laid out, like we've discussed on the channel here, easier and quicker setup time. And the way that Ilpo, and I give him all credit for this, the way that he outlined everything, it's real quick and snappy how to set the game up. And of course we added that new page where all you have to do now is look at that one page and it shows you how to set the game up, or recommended how to set it up. So that's another benefit of the changes to the game. This was the smallest thing, but it had the biggest impact on the game. Scalable difficulty reference card. Of course in the Crusader upgrade pack you get this, and what this does is we'll just read it. This was such a small revision but made a huge difference in the game and a much more enjoyable experience. What this does is helps out your level 1 and level 2 heroes with events and challenges in the encounter deck, the trap system, and the trap treasure chest. This can be used in the 2 Macalladar dungeon for the various environmental hazards. So it boils down to this. We listen to players, hey Roger, some of those traps, some of those trap treasure chests, the challenges and events, those are pretty hard for my level 1 and level 2 heroes. This is when you have to roll a d20. So let's just say there's one with a spiked floor trap. And so if a level 1 hero draws this card from the encounter deck, it might say test agility 17, which is really high for a level 1 hero. So we can't really see it here, but you can now deduct 6 from all those things that I just listed. As if your hero's level 1, if they're level 2, you get to deduct 3 from that value that's printed on the card. And then finally, if they're level 3, you use the value printed on the card. And guys, this was so small, but it, just from talking to players, it made it, it just fine-tuned the experience and just made it more enjoyable. So that was another revision to the game we were very happy about, and a lot of players were pleased with that. The new Crusader mode, of course, this right here, so many people jumped on this, and I was so happy and just very grateful. Yes, you can play Dungeon Crusade now with one hero, one fetch hound, one dungeon, and maybe one or two mercenaries. You can hire up to 2 mercenaries. That's the new building. This, of course, is in the new revised rulebook, and you get the mercenary camp mini board for your village board. So you can select only one hero, and you could try to take on Dungeon Crusade with just your hero, and of course Albus, your fetch hound. This uses the revised combat system. You can use the classic one, but it's highly, highly, highly recommended to use the revised combat system. But if you want a little bit of help, you can go to the mercenary camp and hire 1 or 2 mercenaries. So there's a little bit about the Solo Crusader mode, and you could read more about it there. The minion movement speed track, which is new for the dungeon UI board. And this is something you could use at the top of a monster phase. And basically you roll on this chart, and there's 2 ways you can use it, like right here. At the start of the monster phase, you can roll in this chart and have all minions use that movement for their turn. So let's say that, we rolled the d6 and 5 came up. So we're going to be using a d10 to generate their movement, and then adding whatever their base movement is to that result. Or what you could do is use this chart for each minion's turn. So there are 2 ways to use this for how fast or slow the minions will traverse to the dungeon. So basically, for every time it's a minion's turn, you're going to just roll on this chart. And I think that was, so that was all this goes into Dungeon Crusade is in production. But from what I listed, those are all the benefits that in the revisions, and it just really perfected and honed the whole experience. And I'm just so happy this is done, especially the revised rulebook. And if anyone asks, yes, this is going to be released very shortly. Me, Ilpo, and everyone is excited for you to check this out. And I'll of course make a video when that is ready to for download. Excuse me. We'll have everywhere. We'll be putting it everywhere, so everyone will know that it's available for you. And we're excited for you to check it out. The best news ever is Dungeon Crusade is in production, and I just talk about it a little bit here, but it was a few weeks ago, me and Ilpo made the last revisions to the revised rulebook, and everything was forwarded to our awesome production manager at the manufacturer. So they have the 2 new game boxes that you saw. They have the revised rulebook. Everything is all set. And like I said here, I've been friends with them for about 10 years. I got to know them. They're an outstanding company, and considering how big Dungeon Crusade is, they did an awesome job with how it turned out, for the first print run. It's going to be a lot quicker now because this is just a reprint, and of course, with the new content that we added. They're very busy. I will tell you, I've learned with them, you wouldn't believe how busy these good folks are. So they're reviewing everything. Everything's been sent to them, and I always check in every 2 or 3 days, see what's going on. You can expect constant updates from me, videos, photos like I did before, so you can actually see the game being printed. As soon as I get it, it's going to hit Kickstarter, it's going to hit the channel, so you guys are in the loop, and it's kind of cool just to see, the game being printed. I even had a few photos of the games on the truck, like going over when they were shipping them out and all that. So I just wanted to let you know that it's on our end, everything is done, and you can expect just all kinds of updates. As soon as I hear from them, you guys will know. This is just, you guys have already seen this, but I wanted, of course, let the Kickstarter folks know. In-depth look at the revised rulebook. We're very happy about this, we're very proud of it. So these are just some videos where we already looked before of how nice the rulebook came out. And again, we looked at this in videos. You guys were kind of the first to see all this. These are the new game boxes. There's 2 editions now. There's the Slayer of the Realm that comes with every add-on, every big add-on in the game, except the plastic arrow bases. But if you pledged on Kickstarter, that was one of the bonuses, that you got the plastic arrow bases with the Slayer of the Realm. But and again, they're only, I think they're like $12 if you want those arrow bases. But every add-on is in the Slayer of the Realm. The double dungeon expansion with Castle Blackwood and the Cavern of Lost Souls. There's the hero expansion, the expert monster difficulty, the heroic monster difficulty. So if you're looking for the all-in, you want the total experience, here you go. And then, of course, here's the box for the Crusader of the Realm, which is the base game, and it has the Avalon Adventure board game in it. And, of course, Slayer of the Realm has the Avalon Adventure board game in there. So there was just some stuff that you looked at before. We got them in the loop. Now, I want to talk to you guys about this. The Dungeon Crusade Pledge Manager. There is a link, and I'll put it in the description. It is open right now, and it will remain open until basically, we get the word from the manufacturer. So it does say the end of June or shortly after, like the first week in July. But being completely candid with you, the ball is in the manufacturer's court now. And, I respect that they're busy with, other things. So what I'm trying to say is we can keep that open, until they say, okay, we got to roll with everything. So you'll have fair warning before it closes, but there's, guys have always said, you don't worry about it. You don't have to run in there and pledge right now. You can take your time, and you will see videos of fair warning pledge managers closing, I promise you. But of course you can go in there, look around at stuff. There's a link in here, but I'll put this link in the description for you so you can have a look. But just, I never want to push that on people. It's what, you'll have fair warnings before. And I even put here like a 2-week notice. I'll make sure you guys are covered. But this will be open, as it says, end of June into July. And we're just kind of playing it by ear with how everything is going with, the manufacturer and what work they're doing. And, of course, on the other projects they're working on. And this I just want to touch on also. That's very important. Okay, and as you can see here, important. If you have pre-ordered the game, please make sure your information is up to date and your email is in your order. The email part is very important, and I'm going to touch on something else about this because this is how you're going to get your tracking number when the games ship out. So please make sure that your email is in your order. And also, our very good friend One Sony pointed out in the comment below all this, because I didn't know what it was. Where was it? Right here. But I want to make sure your email is on your order. This is how you receive your tracking number for your order. Before, there were people getting a hold of us saying they never received tracking information. You got to make sure your email is in your order. And also, there is an option. I have to find out where this is at, but it's in Pledge Manager. There's a check mark that says don't receive updates on this project. You definitely do not want to do that, because that's how you're going to know about the Pledge Manager's closing. So please, if you have an order or you're going to order, please make sure to leave that enabled so you can get notifications. So of course, I want to keep you in the loop. We want to keep you in the loop. Pledge Manager does, and of course the fulfillment service. Please make sure your email is in your order and you have that enabled for email notifications. Okay. If you need any help with anything, just please let me know. If you need your address changed, we just talk to someone about that. I'm always here 24/7. Let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Like I said right here, always reinforce that. If you need help updating your address, the support team managers are great at Pledge Manager, so just please let us know. And coming to the end here is a new game mode coming this summer, Quest Challenges. You guys probably saw this, but I am very happy about this mode, and this is going to be something that you can just download the quest cards. We're going to have blank quest cards that you can download, and this is going to enable you to create your own quests and challenges. And the highlight here, the new game mode, 40 to 90 minute playtime. Yes, you're seeing that right. Solo or co-op, of course. And it's hard to describe. I can better show you than describe this, but what this new game mode is I've been working on a scenario Well, first and foremost, this is only going to use one quest table. As you know, there's 3 quest tables: level 1, level 2, and level 3. So when you design a quest or download a quest, that hopefully other people are going to be doing this. So I know there's a ton of creative people out there who want to do this. You're going to be only, like, it's a very, how do I was saying this before, it's like a very personal experience. Like, for example, the quest or scenario I'm working on uses the level 2 Cerbrenus with the level 1 Enwyn Shadowleaf, who is the archer, and Palum Ganamor, who is the rogue. They're both level 1. Cerbrenus is the knight hero. So I'm crafting this very cool scenario where Simon Ashbourne, this very well-to-do citizen in the village of Witherbrook, is collecting relics from around Avalon. So he brings up Castle Blackwood, and there's a scepter and a crown, and he wants Cerbrenus and these 2 level 1 heroes to retrieve these for him. So it's only going to use quest table 1, so that's why the game time is only going to be 40 to 90 minutes. So for all the people that want a quicker version of Dungeon Crusade, this is totally for you. There's going to be over 70 quest items you can use. And again, so start thinking now. If you have some kind of quest in mind, a level 1, level 2, or level 3, you know, like in my scenario that I'm creating, there's going to be, you know, some level 1 monsters, some level 2, and a chance of some level 3 monsters. So, you know, we're going to get more into this, but that's kind of just that in a nutshell. And there will be blank quest cards that you could download. I'll be doing some workshop videos teaching you how to, you know, create a scenario and the quest. There's some calculations that have to be made. They're not hard, but it's something that we have to go over. So I hope that you're excited by that. I'm excited to get this out, and I think we're going to do a playthrough of this scenario and that I'm designing, and I'm really looking forward to that. And so as we close this out, there's going to be another thing we're going to talk about, the Summer Crusader video series. But when we wrap up, like, everything with production, because that's what I'm focused on right now to get this done for you, I definitely want to kick back and do some playthrough videos, and this will be the first playthrough we do, is this quest I'm working on for the quest challenges. And you can see really how everything works. And again, it's only going to be about, the one I'm doing will probably only be about 60 minutes to 75 minutes, I'm guessing, how everything's going. So there you go. If you're looking for a shorter version of Dungeon Crusade, there's a new mode that will get you covered for that. So get to thinking of some quests and scenarios. And again, we talked about this before. Dungeon Crusade was at Geekway to the West last month, and again, it was such a pleasure and honor to meet all of the awesome fans there. Dustin, right there, creator of the Ghost Betwixt, we had shared a booth there. Such an awesome guy. If you've not tried the Ghost Betwixt, if you want a unique dungeon crawler, and don't let this art fool you, it is a tough as nails dungeon crawl game. Dustin has got these for sale, and they're not very much though, so check out Dustin's site. I'll put a link in the description for you. And these are just some of the awesome people I met there. These 2 kids, they were really intrigued by the Avalon Adventure board game. I was showing it to them, doing a little demo, and they were so awesome. Then their parents were interested in Dungeon Crusade, so we got to meet them. This girl here with the Dungeon Crusade, gosh, I'm trying to remember everyone's name. I cannot remember her name. I'm sorry. I was joking around with her and her boyfriend, and someone else was there, and we were having a good time. Jamie Stegmeyer from, of course, with all his games, Wingspan, and oh my gosh, how many games Jamie is just, he was a pleasure to meet. And I asked him, would he please have a seat in the Throne of the Dead? And it was perfect. So it was cool to meet Jamie in person. Super nice guy, does so much for our community. Chad, that's Chad. We're on Friends on Facebook now. And he was showing me, he's got over 300 games, and I only dream of having that many games. So he was cool to meet, and it's so many other people. Ida, this girl here, was dressed like a pirate that day. Her boyfriend John, it was cool meeting them. So Ida, I hope you're doing good. And we're going to wrap it up here with the Summer Crusade video series. So what I'm going to be doing is, and I'm glad we're ending with this, and I've been putting together this format, and you know me, I just speak from the heart, especially in these videos. I'm creating a new video series now that, the game is done, because I think there's still people who are unsure, what the heck is the Avalon Adventure board game? What is Dungeon Crusade? And I want to take the time, but the key word here is to do it quick. I want to create a play series that briefly touches on every aspect of the game. You know what I mean? So we're going to start out with, as I'm putting the format or the outline out, I think I'd like to start out with, of course, the revisions that we made to the game, and then just a brief summary of each, the Avalon Adventure board game and Dungeon Crusade, and then I'm hoping to keep them around 3 to 4 minutes, and then go into the Avalon Adventure board game, discuss everything within that quickly though, then go into Dungeon Crusade, and then do these like little featurette videos. I've said this until we got to this point. I mean, I'm glad that we're at this point so I can do this, that will maybe touch on how to build up your heroes, how, all the different ways you can spec out your heroes, because I think some of these cool points of the game get buried. And so I just want to magnify or put on the spotlight, like kind of like the RPG side of Dungeon Crusade, where, you start out with a level 1 hero, they can level up to level 3. Of course, there's 193 pieces of gear, so you could spec out your hero how you want. But then there's mining and crafting, so you could craft power gems to even further, tweak your hero or spec out your hero how you want. So I'd like to have that for people to highlight, of course, the patrol route system, but do it very quick and fast. I mean, every 2 or 3 days, 4 days, release these videos and put them into different game forms so people can kind of see quickly, okay, here's what Dungeon Crusade, here's this aspect of the game. So I'd like to start working on that this week for you, and of course you'll see it here on the channel. Okay, so I guess this is part of this Summer Crusade video series. I put hard there, I meant to say just the Summer Crusade video series. And again, like with this scenario and quest I'm working on, I'd like that to be part of this series where I could just hang out, we could play this new game mode, quest challenges, and show you how quick it is. So that's kind of what that is, the Summer Crusade video series. But the first thing you'll be seeing is, like I just spoke about, is, highlighting everything in the game, but very quickly, and just put it out for people to watch, and they can kind of see everything that both of these games have to offer, and not make them 10 or 15 or 20 or 25 minutes long. Just quick, concise, and get the point across of, what you have to look forward to in the game. And oh yeah, give a shout out to DJ Daniel over at the Dungeon Dive. If you've not checked out this channel, do check out the Dungeon Dive. Daniel's just amazing with all the content he puts out. He's so passionate about it. So if you're into these fantasy adventure games, dungeon crawl games, huge games, small games, he does so much on that channel. Definitely think about subscribing to the Dungeon Dive. And in closing, and I'm just gonna go over this really quick with you, and I was very sincere, and I wanted to say a lot in this closing words here. As you know, I'm a passionate creator about this. We listened to people on some of the issues they had with Dungeon Crusade, like we started at the top of the update with all those revisions. And honestly, for more than a year and a half, I worked every single day, reading off here, for many hours to correct everything. And I was, of course, joined with Ilpo and some other people, and we got Dungeon Crusade up to snuff. And like it says here, the point I want to make is that I was never going to give up, ever. I think you guys know me. I'm as determined as a three-legged bull. Nothing was going to stop me. I wanted to make this the best experience possible because it's my baby. I was passionate about it. And, I just learned so much in the process. And that, for people looking forward to the game and, people who have the previous edition of the game, it was about, making sure you were taken care of. And like I said, I genuinely sleep better at night knowing how everything has been addressed in the game, especially that revised rulebook. That's a big one. Like I said, I'll never say Dungeon Crusade is the greatest game in the world. Never in a million years would I ever say that. Everyone has a certain game that's their favorite game in the world. Mine is the 80s Dungeon Quest, and I stick to that. Warhammer Quest is up there, and Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. I love that game. But like I said here, but what I will say is I stepped out to break the mold of the fantasy adventure, RPG, and dungeon crawl genre just to give fellow gamers people something very innovative, creative. Had a lot of my passion for these games I've loved growing up within it. One, make sure it was thematic and provide a brand new experience and in a new direction. And I think now with what we worked on with the game, I think we have definitely achieved that with Dungeon Crusade. So, and again, just like to you guys here, and like I said to them, just really want to thank everyone for your friendship, support with the game, your feedback, your love, excitement, and support. And I'll just always be eternally grateful to you. And I'll always work hard to whatever we're working on. And, excuse me, I've been working on a smaller game. We're going to be talking about that in the very near future. I'm super excited about it. I've been play testing this new game. I've let a few people roll some dice, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. It only takes place at one location, guys, and it's a much smaller game, but I think you're really going to enjoy it. And I think that's about it for the update. Oh, and then, you know I love music, and these guys right here, I'll even put a link in the description. This band Heat is from Sweden. They're coming out with a new album. If you are a child of the 80s or love like 80s hard rock, but with a modern twist, you gotta check ththese guys out. I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong with Heat. They have so many great songs, and you know, they have worked so hard to get to where they're at. It's one of my favorite, it probably is my favorite band. So check out their new song called Hollywood by Heat, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Okay, let's go to our other screen and close this out with some final words. Okay, and I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me for a little bit, chatting about the Kickstarter Update 14. And I'm just very excited, guys, that this thing, I'm so happy, I'm relieved, and that the game is in production now. And it was a lot of work, but I just feel just happy for all of us that this thing is done. And again, you'll get updates from me as soon as I get them from the manufacturer, get this thing shipped out. And I think I just want to chat with you because I'm excited about this. That was the promo poster. And I don't have anything yet, but I do want to tell you a few things that it's about this new game. Like I've said, we'll close out with this because I'm just excited to share this with you. And I got to be tight-lipped about some of it because this new game, it takes place at one certain location in Avalon. For how it's been developing, it is, I promise you, please everyone hold me to what I'm going to say. You've never seen something like this before. It's definitely a new experience. The way that the game world that your, I'll say, adventurers play, it will always change. It is nowhere near the size of Dungeon Crusade. This is definitely going to be like a medium-sized game. And I guess when I started out years and years ago on Dungeon Crusade, the framework was huge, of course. I mean, you see what the game is now. It was huge. The framework of this game is one location, and I love that. You know, I'm enjoying working on something that's smaller, and it's, like I've said, this is going to address a lot of issues that people have with board games. I addressed like quick setup time, 10 minutes, not over 15 minutes for setup time. There's going to be a save system with this, so you could put everything like in some kind of storage thing for when you want to play. It's just a lot of things that I wanted to address with this game. And I will tell you right now, when we hit Kickstarter, it's going to be a medium-sized game, but it's going to have everything within it. You know, I don't want to have all these tons of add-ons. It's going to be a nicely equipped, hefty, rich in some content, like box of just an awesome new experience for you. You know, none of these tons of add-ons and, you know, pledge for this and get this. No, get the game. You're going to have a lot of stuff in it. And I can tell you now that Freddie Lopez, I talked to him and I've told him what all this is, and he is very excited about this. And he is the lead artist on this game. And of course, I'm going to talk a few other artists who worked on Dungeon Crusade and say, hey, would you like to do some stuff? But Freddie has been a tremendous friend to me through all this. And he's, when you see what this game is and the location, his art is perfect for what this game is going to be. And I'm very excited to get into this. Now with this, my point was, now that this is wrapped up, I'm going to be putting all my time into this, and it's not going to take that long to finish for what it is. I already have like a very rough prototype, but I already know, you know, what the monsters are going to do and the certain adventurers. I will say they're new adventurers that will be in here. There will be 6 of them, and some monsters will be returning, you know, from Dungeon Crusade into this, but there's going to be a ton of new monsters that Freddie is going to really excel at. If you've seen Freddie's art with some of this very wicked evil stuff, be prepared. It's going to be great. And I guess that's it for right now, guys. So remember, as we close out here, Pledge Manager is open. It will not be closing by the end of June, I assure you. Again, the ball is in the manufacturer's court. Like I said, I respect what they're working on. We respect what they're working on. They're just super busy all the time, but it's all there, and you'll be getting updates on everything. All right, and I think that's it. Thank you so much for your time. Love you guys. Thanks for just hanging out with me and chatting, and I hope you liked everything. I hope everyone has a great day, great night, and I will be back here very soon with you. We got a lot of stuff to look forward to over the summer. This new quest challenges mode, and of course this new video series. All right, guys, take it easy, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.